2 years ago, I found a side hustle that pays me while I sleep, and it's perfect for every web designer. So this video, I'm basically gonna break it down. I'm gonna break down the whole process, how I found it, what I actually found, and I will tell you if this can actually work for you. So first up, a bit about my story so that you know that you can believe me. You're gonna be seeing some screenshots on the screen while I talk about it. But basically I started back in September in 2023. And at that time I had a job at an American agency as a web designer, and I was getting paid around $1,800, and that's before tax. So it was a pretty low amount, but for where I live, which is Bulgaria, this is a pretty good salary. So I was pretty happy with what I was making, but I found something that I thought had a lot of potential, which was Framer templates. At that time, the platform was very new and there weren't much templates in the marketplace. And I've seen other people before making money with templates for WordPress, for Tumblr, and more. So I thought, why not give it a shot? In my first month, I made $200 when I made 3 base templates for an email marketing agency, a short form content agency, and an AI automation agency. I marketed them only on YouTube. They didn't get approved by the marketplace, but I still ended up making $200. In my second month, I made 400 with the same templates. But in November 2023, when I actually had my first template approved on the Framer marketplace, I made $3,000 in a single month. And as I said previously, I was making around 1.5K after tax from my agency job, but I made literally double that in a single month by selling a product that I worked on for 3 weeks, and I sold as many times as I could. So this opened up my mind to see that this is actually a possibility that I could pursue, but I still didn't have the balls to go all in, because what if this was a one-off fluke? So after that, I had a period which I call the messy middle. So I was making around 1.5 to 2.5K a month for around 6 to 7 months. And I was trying to publish at least one new template every month. And as soon as I hit around 10 templates on the marketplace, my income from templates alone stabilized at around 5K a month. And that's when I decided to quit my job and go all in on templates. I started releasing more. I started releasing around 2 templates every month, but the competition also got higher. So my income didn't scale as aggressively as in the beginning. But currently I'm making around 7K to 8K a month from templates alone. And I have around 20 to 25 templates live on the marketplace currently. I don't know for sure, excuse me for that. So why templates work for web designers? Basically, it's a thing that you build once and then you sell infinitely, and there's no delivery bottleneck. If you're working as a web designer currently, I'm sure you know about all of the headaches that come with this type of work. You work on a design for a week, you present it to the client, he doesn't like it, you have to do a completely new design, you end up working on something you absolutely hate how it looks, but it's the client who makes the choices, so you have no choice but to comply. On the other hand, if you work as a freelancer, I'm sure you face the issue where clients don't pay on time. Sometimes it takes months for them to pay the invoice, which really is not pleasant. Also, there's the issue of countless feedback cycles and the project getting pushed back from a project that should take 2 weeks to a project that takes 2 months. And it's just a nightmare. But with templates, sales can happen literally while you sleep. You work on projects that you like, and as long as demand exists and your templates are actually good, you can pretty much scale this to very high revenue. There's people that are making around $30,000 a month with just templates. So you can see there's really a huge opportunity here. So how do you actually build templates? It's a pretty simple system, but it's actually very hard to get approved. A lot of people I talk to in my discovery calls for my coaching program, they face the issue of getting approved on the marketplace. This is a topic that we'll tackle when we get to design, but the first step is actually just planning. You simply need to pick a niche. The niche that I recommend to start off with is some sort of a sub niche for the agency niche. It is getting a bit saturated on the marketplace currently, but if you build a very nice template, it will sell. You also need to study what other top templates emphasize, how they look, what types of sections they have, how many pages they have, so on and so forth. And a very important part that a lot of people skip is searching for inspiration for the look of your template. Because if you start designing without inspiration, oftentimes you're gonna end up with a mess that doesn't look very good. So this is also another thing that is very important, picking the right inspiration for colors, for typography and for images for your template. The next step is design, and this is probably the most important step because this is the #1 approval filter when it comes to getting your templates accepted. Most of the beginners I've spoken to, they face this exact issue. They design a template, they build it, they submit it, and then they get rejected because their template doesn't meet the design quality standard of Framer. So you really need to spend a lot of time in the design phase, really polish every detail, polish the spacing, polish the typography, the images, and the colors until you have something that looks world class. You can go to sitespo.com to find inspiration for your designs. The third step is to actually build the template. The important thing here is to have a clean structure. You need to avoid having unused layers in your file. You need to avoid unused components and so on and so forth. And you need to pass the minimum requirements checklist. You can simply Google Framer template requirements and you will see a big checklist that you have to pass. Basically go through everything and make sure that your template checks every single box, because if you end up with a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that don't comply with their requirements, again, you're gonna get rejected. The fifth final step is to package it and submit it. Basically, you need to create eye-catching thumbnails for your template and titles and descriptions that promise an outcome and describe your template good. And finally, you need to submit it. But who actually buys these templates in my experience? So in my experience, the most profitable niches I've seen is the SaaS niche, because a lot of SaaS founders actually use Framer to launch their products. Another niche that I don't have in this list is the info product niche, so people who sell courses. Also, marketing, design, and AI agencies are also very powerful niches that you can try out for your first template. You need to make sure that your template solves the core needs of your target audience. If you're building an agency template, your template needs to have the option to book calls, showcase case studies, and help your clients look credible fast. So outcome focus beats aesthetic only design. What I mean by this is that you need to make sure that your templates has all of the sections and pages your target audience will need, because if it doesn't have something that they need, like a pricing section, let's say, they will pick something else that hasn't. But that doesn't mean that design isn't important. As I said, the design step is probably the #1 reason why most beginners get rejected on their first templates. So here's some proof that this playbook transfers and that it gets results for other people and not just me. So with my first coaching student, we actually finished the program this week. He managed to make $600 in 1 week after approving his template on the marketplace, which is a huge success. He had a pretty big transformation during the program. You're gonna see a design he did before joining and his latest template. And you can see this is just a huge improvement. And this is the main thing. The first design, it didn't really look as polished, but after the coaching program, his latest design, it looks like world class. Attention to detail, nice illustrations, nice typography, and nice spacing. So this business model, one of the best things about it is that it compounds over time. Because as I said previously, at 20 templates, I stabilized around 5,000 a month. I quit my job and now I'm making 7 to 8K a month every single month for the past around 6-7 months now, I think. I've even hit 10K months back in May. I hit my 10K a month just with templates. It's really a great model for any web designer. You literally will take your skills that you currently possess, you will just invest it in a different vehicle that can get you more results in an easier way instead of working with clients or having a job. So what's your next step? You can try building your template on your own, submit it, and see how you do. But if you want to prove already feedback and a faster path to making sales, you can check the link in the description to book a coaching call with me, where basically we'll spend 15 minutes talking about you and your story, why you want to build templates, and we're gonna assess if you're a good fit for our program. If you are, we're gonna move forward. If you're not ready for this type of program, which is a bit expensive, it's not super expensive, but it is a high ticket program, you can join my free school group where I have free resources, and every Tuesday I give feedback on templates that are posted in the group. So you do have a few options and it's all in your hands now. So you know what to do, you know what the business model is, it's just a matter of execution.